you don't have fun in your life, it's your fault. I'm Cole. This is my journey of becoming a professional soccer player, building a bootstrap business, and showing my path to self-mastery. I make these videos to help teach people how to create their ideal life. In today's video, I want to explore the topic of fun being a perspective. If two people can go through the same exact experience but have a completely different perception about how it went, then the amount of fun that you can have in any given experience is determined by you. Excluding extreme events, you can choose how much fun you have in any given situation. I was experiencing this tonight and talked about it with a friend. Today was kind of a low energy day from everyone because we had a giant party last night where everyone was drinking. Since I wasn't hungover, I didn't really have a difference in how I felt from yesterday to today, so I was still high energy. And I was talking to this other person who was kind of complaining about how everyone else was kind of boring and not really doing anything. We were separated from the group, so we could talk kind of freely about how everyone else wasn't really doing anything, just sitting there and kind of being bored and then complaining about them being boring. I'm a big believer in the energy that you give out, you're going to receive. People feed off each other's energy, so if you're low energy, you're more likely to attract low energy people or receive low energy from the people around you. I've noticed that when I'm trying to extract the most energy out of myself, I'm not showing a fake version of myself. I am pushing myself to give more to the other person. If you are in a position where you don't feel like what you're doing is fun, you have to think, how would this become enjoyable? This could be when interacting with people or in your everyday life, with working, going to the gym, doing training sessions, or anything that you do. Trying to make whatever you're doing more enjoyable just by changing your mindset or changing the actions that you're doing. You might not think something is enjoyable and then come to find that you don't think it's enjoyable because you keep telling yourself that. You don't want to get in your own way. If you are low energy and really can't do anything about it, then go to sleep. You don't have to hang out. If you don't want to go to sleep because you have FOMO, that's something that you're going to have to work on. You don't want to bring down the entire energy of the group because that will just change their perception about you. For me, I want people to have a perception of me to where if they were to interact with me, it would be a benefit to themselves. There's people that when you hang out with them, you feel better. I want others to feel the same about me. And they're not gonna feel that if I'm constantly low energy, trying to be nonchalant, trying to be too cool. Naturally, I'm not a nonchalant person, so I'm perfectly fine with just being an idiot, saying something that might sound dumb if I find it funny. You being yourself will also help others become more authentic. I've had problems with this in my life with being afraid of what other people would think about me. However, this limiting belief has actually hindered a lot of my relationships because I'm not acting like myself around these people. This is something that I'm actively working on to improve being myself and not conforming too much to the people around me. You're going to act differently depending on who you're around, but you don't want to change yourself so much that you're completely different people. Not everyone you meet is going to reciprocate your energy. And even if you hang out with the same people at different times or at different days, they might not return the same energy that you want. Everyone gets tired sometimes or just wants to be alone. You have to learn to not take that as a personal attack on you and still try to put out as much positivity as you can. Sometimes when the other person is low energy, you can extract the energy out of them. Usually this takes a certain topic that they're really interested in. Another thing that could really help is if you're in a setting to where you can play music that would get someone in a better mood. I don't know exactly how to do this, and it's very specific to the person that you're doing, but I do know you having higher energy will help extract the energy that other people have that's lying dormant. You probably have a lot of negative self-talk about how you think about a certain situation. It's important to recognize what is negative. You might not think of it as a big deal, saying something is boring or not enjoyable, or I hate how blank is, but those are actually negative thoughts that decrease the amount of enjoyment that you have from a situation. In a self-improvement sense, having enjoyment is not bad. You can be doing the same exact thing. Going to the gym workout where you're really pushing yourself. Two people can go through the same exact workout, get the same exact gains, yet one person can enjoy it more than another just because of their mindset. So having enjoyment isn't necessarily terrible. You influence how you perceive a situation, so you have to push yourself to be high energy. Then if you are doing something that is helping you towards your goals, having fun will make the experience more enjoyable, and then also you're more likely to perform better. If you can have fun and kind of get into a flow state, you'll be able to do the work effortlessly. This is typically in a sports setting when you're in a game and you're lost in the moment. You're not even gonna realize this is gonna happen, but you're gonna snap out of it because you were so entranced in the game that you couldn't really recognize anything that was going on. Let's give two scenarios. One where you're actively trying to make the experience better and having high energy, or the other where you're kind of complaining and saying that you're not having a great time. But you could be doing the exact same thing in both scenarios, saying like, oh, this is boring. One, you kind of shift your mindset into thinking like, oh, how can I make this more fun? Or is this just my mindset getting in the way of me having fun? If you just continue thinking like this, you're going to spiral into thinking the entire experience wasn't very enjoyable. How you feel about an experience is an opinion. I would recommend that you try to get as much enjoyment, even out of the hard things, that you can. Thank you for watching the video, and see you next time.